Hi, my name is Tuli, and today I'll talk you through some tips and tricks on how we can set up and optimize your recruitment process. Let's have a look. So that you can start setting up your nice recruitment processes, we'll need to first go into our add-on features and activate a couple of them. When you click to your company names and from there to add-on features, you'll firstly find our Discover page where, for example, we'll be able to find the features that I'll talk you through today. These two are triggers as well as Copilot. Simply click then Open and then click Activate Add-on. Of course, feel free to also look through all of our other add-on features and see if there's anything else that you would like to use. Now that we've activated the Copilot feature, we can head on over to the settings and choose different areas that we would like to use it for. Simply click onto your company name, then from there settings, and Copilot is going to be located on the left-hand side under your recruitment settings. Then all you need to do is toggle on the different areas that you do want to use Copilot for. For example, today we'll go through the candidate screening as well as suggest existing candidates. But of course, take a look through on all the other things that Copilot can also do. Now we can head on over to our Jobs tab where we can start setting up your recruitment processes and, for example, add triggers which allow you to automate a couple of different acts in the recruitment process. When you open an existing job, you'll be able to find the different stages you have created at the time of you creating the job. And to add these triggers, you'll simply need to find the magic wand icon here on the top right-hand side and click onto it. Once you've opened the triggers, you'll find the opportunity of adding triggers into the different stages you have within your recruitment process. When you click to add trigger, you'll be able to find all the different things that are possible for you to automate within your recruitment process. However, we'll start with taking a look at Smart Move. When Smart Move is added into the inbox, this will allow us to automatically move candidates from this stage onwards in the process. And this can, for example, be based onto your application questions. So that this actually can work, you'll need to make sure that you add a couple of questions into the application form that your candidates will then answer. These application questions, of course, will then help you screen these candidates during your recruitment process. When we click to the question Smart Move, what you'll firstly need to do is select the stage that we want to move our candidates to. In my case, I want them to move forward into my reviewing stage. When I then click onto the Add Questions section, I'll firstly be able to find all of my job questions that I added into the application form. I can then simply select one or multiple of these questions that I'm going to be basing this move on. As well as you can specify the answer that your candidate should be giving. You'll then be able to find the options of candidates needing to meet all of the criteria or any of the criteria in the case of you using multiple questions for this move. As well as you have the opportunity of choosing if this move is going to be applied to all candidates and if this move should be immediate. When you are done with the setup, you can simply click Add Trigger and it's there as part of your recruitment process. Smart Move can be used later in the process as well if, for example, you're sending questions via a message to the candidates. However, most of our customers really like to use it in the inbox stage so that it can help you with the initial screening of candidates. Some other things you may want to use in the initial stages of your recruitment process can be found behind the three dots of your stages. These actions here are called stage actions. For example, here you'll find the opportunity of adding a guide time into your stages that can guide your recruiters on how quickly they should be moving candidates forward from one stage to another. Also, if you would like to have a little bit more of an unbiased recruitment process at the start, you will find the opportunity of turning on our anonymous mode from here. Behind the three dots, we'll also find Copilot screening criteria that will allow you to add a couple of criteria that you would like for your ideal candidates to have. When you click to the Add Criteria, you'll get to write a title and also a prompt for that title. We will then need to make sure to verify the criteria and then you are good to save and add that into your process. Of course, if you do want to, you get to use Copilot to also suggest this criteria so you don't have to come up with it yourself. Something else that Copilot can help you with in your recruitment process is to suggest existing candidates from your candidate database. This feature we can find here on the right-hand side. When you click Open Suggested Candidates, you'll get to choose if you would like Copilot to suggest some of those candidates to your recruitment process. It will simply search through all the candidates that you currently have in your platform and suggest any that it thinks that could be relevant for this role. Once candidates have been suggested, you can simply choose to either source them to the job or say, not a fit. Now that the candidates have been added to your process, you'll also easily be able to see the screening criteria here. Now we can click back on over to our triggers feature to look at a couple of other triggers that can be useful to use as part of your recruitment process and automate a couple of additional things. Firstly, if we want to let the candidates know that they've made it forward in the recruitment process, or maybe we simply want to get a little bit extra information from them, we can automate sending a message to them in different stages. Whenever you go to send a message, you'll always have the opportunity of working with some of your existing message templates so that it can make your communication a little bit easier with them. Something else we may want to do is notify your recruitment team members whenever a candidate reaches a certain stage. We can do it by adding a comment and simply tagging the person that we want to notify. You can also find a similar feature, but for adding tasks to your different team members. Simply click Open the to-dos, write what the task is, and choose when it is due. If your recruiters connect their personal calendars with the Teamtailor platform, you can also automate interview scheduling. This can be done by using a trigger called Smart Schedule. What this does is simply send automatic interview times to the candidates to choose from whenever they are moved from the previous stage to the stage where the Smart Schedule is active. If you are using any integrations as part of your recruitment process, such as e-signing tools, assessment tools, reference checks, or even a HR system, those can be nice things to also automate here in Teamtailor. You can find them when you click to the Add trigger and scroll all the way down to the bottom. Keep in mind that this is something that you need to make sure that you activate and configure those connections before they can be used as triggers. Also, now that you know all the things that are possible for you to automate here in the process, keep in mind that these are all details that you can already add into your job templates, so you don't need to repeat these steps every single time you create a new job. Another feature that may be useful during a recruitment process is comparing candidates. You can do this by clicking onto the bulk select here on the right-hand side. Select the candidates from the stage that you want to compare or different stages. And down the bottom here on this black action bar, you'll find Compare. This will then allow you to see the candidate profiles side by side with all the information that is added onto their profiles. Thank you for watching. Remember that you can always test around in the platform and try setting up different kinds of workflows that work best for your company. And if you've got any questions, you can always reach out to our support via the chat button in your platform. Happy recruiting!